So this year being
That's
such a
debatable.
weird year with all the COVID stuff, right? Not going to jump into too many things on that, but want to hear your opinion. I think there's a great conversation to be had within sports of should championship teams in this COVID era have an asterisk by their championship?
Man, that's it's so funny you bring that up because that's something I was thinking about this weekend watching the Masters. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge golf fan as well as football fan. Um, and it was the tradition unlike any other and the year of unlike any other. And so I was thinking about it a lot because if you saw the leaderboard, you saw like kind of a lot of the younger guys who either was maybe their first or second time at the Masters, and in some regards, like it to me, maybe it was a little bit easier because the pressure, on a Sunday at the Masters where there wasn't, guys literally waiting to hit um, because Tiger was teeing off and the roars or Tiger was putting. Like you're just none of that really was in place. So you can kind of just go out and be free. But then on the flip side too, I think about the NBA and you have the Lakers who win, a veteran team. So, they benefit from it as well, but there's zero travel this year in the NBA. You guys were holding it down there in Orlando in the bubble for a while. And then but on the flip side too, that means they were away from the families, for 3 months or however long it was. And so that makes it hard and different than it's been like any other year as well. So I don't know. It's hard. I don't want to go on the record and say there's an asterisk, but it definitely will go back and look, at this year and like there's definitely going to be I don't know if it's an asterisk, but definitely a note for 2020.
Yeah, I think you bring up a lot of great points there, right? In golf, there was no Tiger roar at the Masters this past week. But if you think about all of the different travel pieces that have to go into playing a round of golf, right? You have your routine. Think about all the routines, and golfers are people of routine. And I know we're going to be talking more about the mental side of sports here throughout our conversation. You get all that thrown out of whack, right? You might have one person who is a friend of yours who got exposed to the virus, and then all of a sudden your next week and a half is thrown into chaos. So, there's some interesting things there. Living in Orlando, I joked around as I do live right behind Walt Disney World. As I would
You
pass,
live right by the bubble.
I'm very close to the bubble. In fact, some of our friends, when we were probably more concerned just with our personal preferences with the MLS bubble, we said we would love to have been that soccer mom on the sidelines during MLS bubble games to hand out Gatorades and yell at the refs on behalf of the players and things like that. But it's just very interesting, right? You've got the mental element of being away from your families for so long. So in the NBA way, the older players, LeBron James has a family and two kids, right? That are,
Hmm.
neither of us have kids, but when we have kids that are high school age, that'll be a great time to see them.
Yeah.
And to get to this, that I think is really impactful. And then on the other hand, you've got the young folks that, it's kind of like an AAU tournament. They're probably watching Twitch. If Friend Stream Sports was going during the NBA bubble, we might have had some NBA players watching us. Who
Yeah.
knew?
You might have.
um, so uh, I think that in terms of, and would love to maybe hear your thoughts. I know you touch on the individual sport and we touch on the bubble, but sports kind of like baseball and the NFL. Um, but broadly speaking, I think that this year there absolutely is going to be an asterisk next to the champions, but that is not a bad thing. In fact, I think that it is going to
That's a good point.
highlight the challenges that you had to overcome and the adversity that you had to overcome.
I agree. That's a good point. Because I think, like we were saying, I think this whole year will have an asterisk, regardless either sports or not. I think just in life, it'll be a year, you know, no one will ever forget for a very long time. So it'll be interesting to see just kind of I would say probably after the Super Bowl, like the temperature of like what that looks like.